What's up, guys? So, today I'm going to be talking about Arena, and it's a very important video for me because I love playing Arena, but right now, there's a lot of problems with the mode, and I think a lot of you agree with me on this. We've all been kind of a victim of the maps and the design in general just kind of not being so great. So today, I want to do something about that. I want to start a discussion and maybe give some feedback to Iron Mace about what they can do to make this mode more fun to play, to make it more balanced, and to make it more successful as a game mode in Dark and Darker. And to do that, I'm going to start with the basics. I'm going to talk about what makes a good map, what makes a game fun to play, and what makes it fair, what makes it keep players coming back over and over. And to do that, I'm going to start by talking about a different game. One of my favorite games of all time, and a game that's also going to date my age pretty hard. But I'm talking about Halo 3, and we're going to be looking at the map called Guardian. This was one of the best maps of all time. Out of any Halo games I ever played, it stands out amongst all the others. And the reason for that becomes very clear when you look at the map design. So obviously this is a shooter game, it's much different than Dark and Darker, but the elements still apply to any game where you're trying to make it competitive and fair and balanced. So let's look at this room here. This is more of like a close quarters room. You saw there was a shotgun at the bottom of that hallway down there. But there's also verticality and tons of options for getting across the map. So there's not a single point on this map that's impenetrable. You can't just sit and hold the side of the map down. You've got different options to flank and push these buildings. Like up here, I can get there in a multitude of ways. I can take this little gravity lift here. Likewise, if I'm up here and I need to leave, if somebody's pushing me, I can just fall down. And I can also get around by jumping up. No matter where you're at, there's always a counter to any playstyle. If there's a sniper up there, you can simply go down here, and you can get right up behind them through this hallway here. But you can easily see how there's counters to every playstyle. In Dark and Darker, there's no real way around the range classes on certain maps. There's no option to kind of pick a different path, to pick a different playstyle. And that's also kind of what we need more of. I mean, we have Molotovs and we have the little poison vials. But outside of that, I mean, if somebody is on one of these open maps and they have a ranger and a wizard, you're not going to be able to get to them. Alright, so the 5 criteria that I'm rating these maps on are: is it balanced for all classes and playstyles? Do both teams have equal odds of winning the round based on where they spawn? Is it fun to play? Does it have an interesting design? And does it allow for every game to be different, for you to play it out differently every single time? On the other hand, we have the Dark and Darker maps that we're playing on currently. Most of them have some kind of asymmetric advantage with, like, you spawn closer to the high ground. They force playstyles and have class favorability based on how they're designed. A lot of them have a single choke point, hallways, open spaces, and a lot of them just lead to corner camping, or they're all close quarters with no retreat points. So this is the grading scale that I came up with. I'm basically just rating each of these criteria out of 10 and then multiplying it by 2 to give the final grade. So, alright, first we're going to look at some of the worst maps. This is the guard post map, and I've never had fun playing on this map. If you have a wizard on your team, you can just blow up the door and take the high ground really quickly. It's a terrible map. Likewise, Cistern, if you have a ranger, you win every time. Just absolutely terrible. So now we're going to move on to the best maps, and one of them stands kind of above the rest, and that's Glacial Teeth. In every single one of these criteria, it meets the standard. It is balanced, it has equal starting positions, it's fun, it's got an interesting design, and it allows for options. I've played on this map before, and I've never had a single game that ended the same way or started the same way. Let's just take a look around. In each corner, you have kind of a different way to play. This is a good corner for more of like the ranged classes. You have pretty good line of sight. But you can see that there's plenty of obstacles so that it's not so range heavy. You can easily flank to the left here, just get right up behind them. You can also flank around the other side. I mean, you have options here. That's the whole point. It's okay for a map to have good line of sight for the range classes to be able to play, but if that's all it is, then that's where it becomes a problem. And on this map, you have very different environments based on where you're at. There's even a spot for just druids to kind of get away. And then you have this back corner where people can hold. You have really narrow hallways, it's good for funneling, but you also have nowhere to go and you can get cut off from both sides. And then again on this side here, it's more favorable to the range classes, but you're also in danger of getting pushed from the left really easily. So these are the kind of things that I'm looking for in a map. It's got all of them. It's good for every single class, it's good for rogues, it's good for rangers, it's good for swords, it's good for fighters. Another good map is Sinking Pillars. This one's gonna give me a lot of heat because I know a lot of people just don't like it, but honestly, it's really good. And then an interesting one, which I really want to play on an arena, is Stables. And on first glance you might think, yeah, it's a big open flat place on the top of it, everyone's just gonna hold there. But just look around for a minute. You have this whole side of the map under here. You can kind of escape from the range classes, and you can flank really easily. There's 2 ladders, 1 on each side, 2 ramps, 1 on each side. You've even got a couple sneaky spots like this, where you can jump over the walls, kind of hide around. I think this one would play really well. You even have a couple obstacles up there, like those boxes, and a secret room that you can go down into. So, I like this map a lot. It's got a lot of the elements that I like in a map. I'm not sure if it would be the most fun to play on, but please put it in the rotation so we can find out. I would really like to play on it. Alright, this one I think might be one of the best maps as well, and that's Castle Armory. So you have this little lever that opens up to the top, and it's not exactly a power position because it's really open. It doesn't have a whole lot of cover, but it just adds a little bit of something, more options to the map. And then you might think on first glance that it's very open in the middle, so it's very ranger heavy, very wizard heavy, but you've got all of these other ways to get around. You really have a lot of spots where you break line of sight, and a lot of good opportunities to flank and push. I see it being a very good map. Just like Forest V, I think this one should be added immediately. I would have a lot of fun playing on it. And again, you might think rangers and wizards will dominate on this map, but if we take a look, and we have to make sure that double jump rogues can't get up on that rock, by the way. But if we take a look, if you're on this side, there's a lot of cover, and it's asymmetric because you can push this rock here, and the other side doesn't have easy access to the top. And then when you're on this side, it is really open, you have a lot of line of sight, but again, there's a lot of flank points, a lot of things that make this map very interesting. Just like Stonegraves A, I love this map. I think it's very balanced. There's enough clutter that, you know, range is still strong on this map, but it's not entirely, like, dominant. I've played a lot of games that were favorable to W key classes, and this one is a little bit more range dependent, but also a very, very good map. If you take out the mobs. You have to take out the mobs, because the spiders they suck. They're not fun to play around, but this map is very fun to play with the mobs gun. So the second B+ map, it might be an A map, I don't know. This one I think would be super fun, super interesting. It has a lot of qualities that are very unique to it. So if you're looking one direction, it's pretty open, but if you're going the other direction, it's kind of like a maze. You have a lot of things blocking your way, a lot of interesting dynamic things on this map that would make it really fun to play. So I think it would be a really interesting map, just like Obelisk. I think Obelisk is really an interesting one because it kind of favors the team that can push up and do damage quickly, but you do have options, so you can flank, you can play it safe, play it back in the corner. It's a great map. I also had a lot of fun on Demon Throne. I don't know how it would play now with the meta, but it was certainly an interesting one, if not kind of a more drawn out one at sometimes. Still better than most of the maps we have now, so I think we should give it a chance. Then we have Dividing Hall, which we play on all the time, unfortunately. We need to get rid of the mobs immediately on this one because it makes it very asymmetric. But with the mobs gone, this map actually is pretty fun. It really doesn't favor one or another playstyle. But I guess just like Grand Hollow, they both kind of favor range a little bit. And you know, this one is absolutely going to divide everyone because it's probably not a B map, but I wanted to rate it high because I think it has a lot of potential. But this all hinges on one condition. You have to make the spawns static. There have to be 2 spawns on this map, and they have to be these exact ones here. The bottom right of the map and the top left of the map, so that each team has equal opportunity to get to a staircase and to take the high ground. Without that condition being met, this map would be terrible, but I think it could work. I really do. And you have a lot of interesting elements. It's got verticality, it's got multiple floors, multiple environments to play around. I think it could be a very interesting one to play on. We should probably give it a chance. And with that being said, now I have to talk about a very important issue in Dark and Darker, and that is cheating and the implementation of the TPM requirement. This is a clip right here, played in 2x speed, of someone getting ESP'd. He just pulled a Viola, and he had been sitting here for about 5 minutes in an obscure corner of the map, and you can see this Warlock is about to just walk right up to him, pop BOC, and then swing at him, and just run him down. So it's clear to me, by the number of cheaters that I've seen and others have seen, that the TPM requirement did nothing. It did not help the cheating problem. They are still in the game. And not only that, but how do you justify taking away the ability of someone to play the game that they paid for? They should just get rid of this requirement right now. It was a terrible decision. You have time, Iron Mace, to make things right with your community. Just do something different. Do an anti-cheat service like everyone else does. It's easier, it's more effective, and it won't restrict thousands of your players from being able to play the game. Remove this requirement, please. So I kind of feel like I've been talking a lot, and I'm pretty much done talking at this point. So I'm just going to let the rest of the video play out. You can see how I rated them, and I'm sure you're not going to agree with all of them, but just keep in mind the criteria. Try to be unbiased. That's what I tried to do. I do like these maps. But yeah, there's a lot of F maps, and you'll see those at the end of the video. But yeah, thank you guys. Hopefully we can help the game. And now I'm gonna leave, just like that mage left on the elevator. Peace out. Well, thank you for sticking around if you're still here. I just wanted to hop back in to make some closing remarks. So, it's very different making a map with Arena in mind versus making it for a dungeon crawler. And yeah, that's pretty much how I feel too when I think about playing on these maps in Arena. They're all pretty bad. But there's no denying that they're really cool looking. The dwarves just say the most crazy things. And I think Iron Mace does a really good job at making these maps aesthetic. I think they're awesome maps. But when you think about PvP, that seems to be the component that's missing from their design philosophy. None of these maps have PvP in mind, and it shows. So while I get that they have to make cool maps that look nice, that play well for a dungeon crawler, you also have to keep in mind the PvP part of the PvP VE. So, thanks again for watching, guys. And remember, hold the line.